Something we've talked about here at the Patriot Hour many of times. Trump has emergency powers we aren't allowed to know about, given that they could make their first appearance during this coronavirus crisis. And today is day 30 since it was declared an emergency March 13th.
What is going on is egregious, beyond any words. People that know the story, people that see the story, people that know the facts, they can't even believe it. It's reprehensible beyond description. It's totally corrupt. But I also know that it's not about me. It's about all of you and it's about our country. I know that. I fully understand.
The past few weeks have given Americans a crash course in the powers that the federal, state, and local governments yield during emergencies. We have seen businesses closed down, citizens quarantined, and travel restricted, schools shut down, the malls, your favorite restaurants, bars, and just places of social gathering in general. It depends, state to state, and what your local governments are doing. See, when nobody cared that certain states didn't care or pay attention to the immigration laws and were doing their own rogue things, everyone thought it was fine. Now that these same states are doing more crazy things against the normal citizens, now you have a issue with it, when you should have had an issue with it when they were abusing their power in the first place. It's kind of a real wake-up call, isn't it? Now, this whole time they've been trying to shove Trump to make a mandated federal forced nationwide martial law type shutdown. That's what they want to walk him into. And people are saying that Trump should step in to stop the states. But when he did that before, he would have been, jumping into the state's sovereign rights. And now we're getting to see each state and how they actually act. They're basically exposing themselves to the level of arresting people or issuing fines for leaving your house. I mean, this is what it boils down to. When President Trump declared emergency on March 13th under both the Stafford Act and the National Emergencies Act, he boasted, "I have the right to do a lot of things that people don't even know about." Now, the president is right. Some of the most potent emergency powers at his disposal are likely ones we can't even know about because they are not contained in any public laws that we can look at. Instead, they are set forth in a classified set of documents known as the Presidential Emergency Action Documents. These documents consist of draft proclamations, executive orders, and proposals for legislation that can be quickly deployed to assert broad presidential authority in a range of worst-case scenarios. They are ones that the government's best-kept secrets. No presidential emergency action document has ever been released or even leaked, and it appears that none have ever even been invoked. presidential emergency action documents emerged during the Eisenhower administration as a set of plans to provide for continuity of government after a Soviet nuclear attack was imminent. Over time, they were expanded to include proposed responses to other types of emergencies, as described in one declassified document, Government Memorandum. They are designed to implement extraordinary presidential authority in a quick, fast response to extraordinary situations. Other government documents have revealed some of the actions that older presidential emergency action documents, those issued up through to the 1970s, purported to authorize. These include suspension of habeas corpus by the president, not by Congress, as assigned in the Constitution. Detention of United States citizens who are suspected of being subversives, warrantless searches and seizures, and imposition of martial law. There is no question that the presidential emergency action documents could be used in a pandemic just like the one we're facing with the coronavirus. A 2006 Nuclear Regulatory Commission memorandum addressed that agency's plan, and that was under President Bush. In 2005, the National Strategy for Pandemic Influenza. The concern was how to maintain operations in response to a pandemic that proved to be persistent, widespread, and maybe prolonged. The memo's authors offered the Nuclear Regulatory Commission 14 bullet points of actions, including to review presidential emergency action documents and select those most likely to be needed by the Commission. The most notable aspect of presidential emergency action documents might be their extreme secrecy. It is not uncommon for the government to classify its plans or activities in the area of national security. However, even the most sensitive military operations or intelligence activities must be reported to at least some members of Congress. By contrast, we know of no evidence that the executive branch has ever consulted with Congress or even informed any of its members regarding the contents of presidential emergency action documents. Now, this will be what you start hearing, that there's too much power in these and we need to look at them and Trump shouldn't be able to do them, even though Trump had nothing to do with writing these up or being around. Remember, he's never served in government in any capacity before becoming president. He had nothing to do with any of these presidential power reach or overgrabs or anything that they will try to say that he's doing. Again, we're using all of the evil one's tools against them, and it will take them down. At the end, everything will be dismantled, torn apart. Certain agencies won't be able to exist because of their abuse and their far overreach of power that they've been promising they wouldn't abuse for nearly 100 years, and have broken every promise time after time, day after day, hour after hour. The only option moving forward is transparency, declass, and dismantling large fractions of rogue government operations. A coup that was uncovered. More to come. Again, I'm Michael. This is the Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you. And where we go one, we go all. Again, today is day 30. Trump is scheduled for 5 p.m. We will be running a live feed of that and a live show just before. Make sure you're subscribed to the Patriot Hour so you get all the alerts. Again, God bless.